Hi there, it's Ginny again. Me and my little birdie. Isn't he cute? I really like him. At the moment I've just popped on quickly because I want to show you, as I promised earlier when I was doing the flower tutorials, that I wanted to show you my plan for what I was going to do with them. Excuse me. I will just bring this into view and give you a look. So what I did was I made a basket for the flowers to sit in, and not all of them are sitting up perfectly straight, but I think it's cute and it was a lot of fun to make. And what I plan to do is, in a little while, I'm going to go and get everything set up, and then I'm going to teach you how to make a basket like this, and I'll show you what it's made of and step by step how to do it. So I hope you like it. I think it's pretty cute, and yeah, I'll be back soon. I'm going to go and get everything set up, and then I'll be back. So I'll switch off for a minute and see you again soon. Okay, I'm back again, and I've taken the flowers out of the basket so I can show you what it looks like without the flowers in, and tell you what I made it with. And that is an old lace, actually I think it's crocheted tablecloth, and it was falling to bits, so I thought I'll cut it up and make something out of it. So what I'm going to do today, I'll show you what I did was to make it. First of all, made the bottom without the handle. I used this size tub, which is just a microwave steamer tub, and turned it upside down, and I'll show you the process in a minute, but I end up covering this with some plastic wrap so that it doesn't affect the tub itself, and you wrap the lace around there, and I'll show you anyway. I'll show you, because otherwise I'll just explain it twice, won't I? So for today I want to show you to start with what you need. So you need an old, well, I suppose you could use any kind of lace that you wanted, but I chose to use this old tablecloth. And you'll need a jar or a tub, whatever size basket that you want to make. It's best to do a square, I know it's a bit wonky shape, but it's fine. It's best to do a square shape because it's easier to handle the material and make it sit right than if you did a round one. You'd have a lot of overlaps to try and make it sit in the round shape, and it's a lot harder to work with. So for today I want to make a smaller one. I'm going to use a glass jar, which is just an old pickle jar, I think, and it's square. And what you do first is you get your jar, and then you get yourself some plastic wrap, which we call in Australia here cling wrap. It's just a cheap brand, doesn't have to be anything expensive. The other reason you put this on is so that the basket itself is easier to get off when you're finished. Otherwise you might find that it sticks to your container, and could be a real problem to get off. So just sort of wrap that around. I'm not going to go all the way down to the neck. I'll just go to the edge there where the squareness ends. And so do that, cut yourself out a sizable piece that's going to go over the jar, and you need lots of overlap so that you can tuck the corners. I found from experience it's best to cut the piece much bigger than you actually want rather than cut it too small. Got a bit of a problem here that there are a few holes, and I'm trying not to get apart with the holes. I'm going to find my scissors. So I guess I'll roughly work around those 2 holes that are there. Just cut that off out of the way. This is really actually quite easy, and I'm sure there must be videos on YouTube already on how to do this or something similar. Just double check that I've got the right length. Yeah, see that hole? It's only just going to make it, I think. What I use for this is because you actually stick the lace together with glue, and you wrap it around the shape that you want it to end up as. It takes that form. But I read somewhere, I can't remember exactly, that you can use various different ways to stiffen fabric, because that's basically what you're doing, is stiffening it. I think one of them was you could use gelatin, and another one is, oh, what's that called? Corn flour, I think. So if you didn't have, although if you're crafting, you'd have glue. I'm using again the cheap version of PVA glue that we have here in Australia, which would pretty much be, I'm always fascinated with pulling the dry bits off. Just my quirkiness. What was I saying? See? Easily distracted. Yeah, it would be the equivalent of Elmer's glue, I think, or white school glue in America. If you're in England, I presume you have PVA glue like we do. I think that's right. So, you get your cloth, and what you want to do is cut the corners in, hoping you can see that, on an angle just in, so you make like a V at each corner. And you're doing that so that you can make a neat corner. Oops, don't pull that too low. You may end up cutting some of this off actually, because it might be excess and the corner might be a bit too bulky. Alright, so I've got my jar of water, my trusty little plastic tray again. As you may have guessed already, I don't have a craft mat, so I just use that, and it saves making a huge mess. And it's difficult to clean. See, look, I've got a bit there with a hole. I'm hoping that doesn't matter. You of course will choose a nicer piece of material. But I suppose for demonstration purposes it's going to work alright. So I'll try and get it to sit evenly. Yeah, that looks alright. And then what you do, I've mixed this glue with a bit of water, probably 2/3 glue, 1/3 water. So, where did I put my glasses? That helps me to see in the viewfinder to see if I'm in the centre. I think that's about right. So then what you do is you just start gluing. And I'm trying to face this way. Camera switched off. What I was saying is you just start gluing, holding it in place so it doesn't slip off the jar to start with. And you just want to add quite a decent amount. And you probably need to use a fair bit because it soaks it up, which is the idea. You want it to soak the glue up so that it makes it stiffen. Now this can be a lengthy process because you have to wait for it to dry overnight. But if you've got a bit of patience, you won't mind waiting. The result is worth it. So just go down, start with the bottom, go down the sides, adding the glue, sort of patting it in as well as swiping it. Yes, as I was saying, you need to leave it to dry overnight. And with the big one I actually did 2 coats of the glue, so I glued it one day, dried it overnight, and then the next day I glued it again all over, and that helped it. Did that slip then? That helped it just to be a bit more sturdy, because just doing the one coat it was still a bit flimsy, a bit floppy, I guess. And because being a bigger basket, it just needed that bit more support. Hopefully this one won't be as difficult or take as long. Or what I'm saying is need as much glue, but we'll see how it goes. Pretty easy, really, isn't it? Just stick some material over a jar and wax some glue on. Hope everyone's been enjoying the hashtag Love Summer Art event that happened over this past weekend, July 17th to 20th, 2015. I've had an absolute ball. I've just loved it so much. Just watched so many videos of so many awesome artists and in all sort of various different genres with using different mediums, and just met some fabulous people, subscribed to a lot of people after finding them. I'd never heard of them before, and gained a lot of subscribers to my own channel, which I'm really grateful for. Thank you very much everyone who subscribed to my channel. I'm just stoked. It's a fabulous thing. Starting out, I originally thought, you know, I'd be happy with just a few people, and mainly the people that I was following, and still do follow, of course. Just happy enough to be friends with them and to show them what I was doing. But now I really like this idea of you know, gaining more people that are interested in seeing what I do and hopefully learning a bit from me. Or, you know, I don't know that I've got a lot to teach, but you know, being an inspiration, I guess. Maybe helping to spark your own creative process so you can come up with other ideas of your own. Alright, so now what we would do, and I haven't cut them in far enough, have I? What we need to do now is cut it up almost to the bottom, but not quite. The scissors are a bit dodgy. And then you would just overlap one piece over the other, but because this is such a lot of material, I think I'll cut some of it out. Otherwise it's going to be too thick and bulky. Hoping again you can see what I'm actually doing. So just pull that in fairly close, stick it to the glass. And then pull the other side down. Of course, when this dries, it dries really firm and sturdy. It's really nice. Holds the shape really well and looks pretty too, I think. My fingers are that sticky now. I'm going to behave myself and not rush off and wash my hands every 5 seconds. I don't know where that comes from, because I used to love getting my hands dirty as a child. My mother said that I was more than happy to be outside playing, and I'd play with sticks and stones, make up little people and make them have little conversations with each other. Yeah, and I loved, you know, doing the usual kid thing, making mud pies and all of that, which I guess maybe in a way I was a bit of a tomboy in that respect, because I loved to get dirty. That's what I'm looking for. Lost my little scissors. Okay, so cut a bit more of the corner off. I was watching another artist that I just found yesterday, I think it was, and she was saying the same thing, that she loved to get dirty as a child, and that her mother wanted to dress her up in pretty laces and patent leather shoes that were nice and shiny, and all she wanted to do was go outside and get dirty. Maybe that's the creative artist sort of personality coming out in us even at that young age. So, of course, when I'll leave that on for now and trim it off after it's all dried and sorted, because I made the mistake with this one that I didn't do that, and so I had a really wonky rough edge that wasn't nice, but I managed to, you know, make it look alright by covering it with some what is that? Bit of I think it was that iron on. I think it's one of those iron-on trims that that has the fabric behind it that you press with an iron and it sticks. Hopefully I'm explaining that well enough for you to understand. Yeah, so I prefer to leave it a bit of length there this time, so I can maybe curl it over and make the edge a little neater, but we'll see how it goes, because see, I've got length here but not on this side, so just see what happens, I guess. Main point now is to just get it all glued together. That's a little bit bulky there, isn't it? Oh well, it'll work out on the end, hopefully. Last corner. if I'd remembered, I would have cut this earlier when it wasn't wet. It would have been easier for me. Right, so I'll leave that one there. See, I've used a bit of glue. But if you're just using a really cheap glue, it's not too bad. It shouldn't be too expensive, hopefully. And if you can't afford to use a fair bit of glue like that, you can always water it down further. It will still work okay. I've probably left it a little bit thicker than I could get away with. Right, I might trim that down as well. Okay, so that's done. Now I'll set that aside to dry overnight, and which will be a long time for me but very quick for you. I'll come back and continue filming tomorrow. Bye for now.